Well, Grim interrupted me as I was in the middle of working past my lunch break without noticing today, and was like, "Hey, do you have time to go live?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I have no idea what Grim has on his mind, but here we are. What's up,
Oh,
buddy? You did keep me from giving free labor to my employer.
sorry. I had the channel, your channel open in the background. I'd like to reframe that. It's like
Sure.
uh, Grim was going through a thing, and Nate had synchronistically happened to work through his lunch break and be available at the precise moment that I reached
Sure.
out to him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
let's see where to start. Okay, so to the extent that you're symbolically Camelot, or the Grail country is symbolically Camelot, I can tie
Sure.
this into this little corner because through the via the Peterson story, where he says that thing they said in Camelot. They say, go to your darkest places and find the treasure there, and then bring it back to the table, right? And I found myself in one of the darkest places, so
Mm.
I wanted to bring it to the table, and so I came to Grail Country. How about that?
Okay. Well, that's okay. Well, tell me what's on your mind.
Well, we can approach it first from the broad angle of too many games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll relate to you, like, because I noticed that someone involved in our Friday session is taking on a new project, and everybody is trying to help, and it's like I even reached out and said, "Hey, what are you doing for your marketing and branding?" Right?
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah. He had no idea what you meant.
right. But that's the one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know how much
yeah.
you wanted to be open about it on the channel, so I was being kind of
No, that's
dicey.
fine. He's talking about my kid.
And the West Marches campaign that people could
Yeah.
become DMs for, apparently, because
Yep.
it's, it seems to be a campaign of campaigning, which is kind of fascinating. Um, but there's the pull of that game, and then like I haven't even gotten around to watching you and Roland yet, and we're talking Thursday, um,
Oh,
but
awesome.
yeah, the 6th. I'll try to talk him into doing it live, but
He
we might.
mentioned that he was going to talk to you, so he's already like he's fully committed to talking to you. So it's just a matter of getting the schedule and figure it out because he mentioned it to me.
But so what happened was is like let's tell the story in the form of synchronicities. Is like, hey, there's a friend. Well, everything is going great as far as is the channel. Except that it's been since what 2019 at the earliest, 2020 maybe, since I've been at it, and it's kind of not going great enough yet. Um, I got some criticism that I should drop the grifter shill thing because it confuses people and makes them feel wonky about helping. But and to be more specific in my asking, and so there's that. There's that's existing as a thing. But the pressure thereof. See, the way I understand the human mind to work is like it gets better at anything it does, and the way it does that is it writes neural circuitry, and then they fire and wire that way, and that's built in there, bro. And then if to stop it, you have to build top down suppressions on that behavior, which is why it's better to never have sinned than to sin. Well, there's fractal diversity options that you get after sinning, but anyway, so like as a system gets stressed, the inhibitions fall out, and one of the and that resulted in me pulling this out of the closet, which
Okay.
um,
Wow.
meanwhile I'm
Were you
thinking
big into flight sims at one point?
when I'm still
Oh, you.
Grimgriz was born. That was the darkness Grimgriz was born in, was this in my hand.
Okay.
Um, and as such, I've prepared a short clip to show people, but I'm also considering offering StreamYard courses. So let me help you with how to present that. If you click on
Okay.
that I need you to open in the tab in the browser tab that link you were provided,
Gotcha. Let me
and
do
then
that.
pause it if it auto plays because that'll be
Yeah,
awkward.
I should be able to just open in a new tab and then pause it. Okay. Oh. You can have
Now,
that.
normally
Oh,
you would keep
I have to
this
copy
is
and paste it into a new tab manually because right clicking it won't give me the option of opening.
now see what
a
you're
new
doing
tab.
right now. We call prep that you do before a show, but the part once you get it pasted, you can do live just fine without disrupting anything.
Okay.
On second thought, this is a silly
For some
place.
reason, it didn't copy it the first time.
Great. Well, this
Oh,
is
and
how
then it copied too much. Oh my gosh, copy pasting from Discord is actually like weird.
Rolly say. Oh yeah, because they try to do the Discord link rather than the YouTube
Yeah,
link.
yeah, exactly. So hold on a second here.
Save versus a live stream with Grimgriz.
Yes,
Everybody,
there
you
you
get to
go.
choose
Roll,
survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose.
okay, I got it I got it open in a tab and I have paused it.
Well, you must not be a survivalist. They got 6. Socialists with the 14 today. Slack, you're doing all right. Lovers of wisdom. Hey, you got your 15. Hey, that's you, right?
All right. Yeah,
Hard folks.
generally.
Hard folks. If you were feeling it, that's a 5. That's a 5. Indigo kids. The same number as it's a 7. I don't know. I'm not coming up with anything. It's a 7. Okay. So
right.
now once you have that tab open, if you go down into the StreamYards where it says present or present,
Yep.
And then it'll give you a little pop up that says slides,
Video file.
or share screen. Click on that share screen one, and then look in the bottom left right away and make sure share tab audio is clicked because by default it's not. And then select the tab that should say the name of the video you want to play.
Oh, so it actually lets you select which tab. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And then pick share.
But where's the share tab audio? It actually is defaulting to checked for me.
No, that's good.
There we go. All right.
So, now, before you play it,
yes.
Since one of the neatest things about StreamYards is if you go in there now and you press the full screen, it won't take up your full screen. It'll just fill up that window like that. And then when you press, and now if you look below what you see in the StreamYards, there's several different viewing options. You can move us to the bottom left corner or take us off entirely and make it full screen. It's right below the broadcast window. There's several different layout options you can slide through. Slide through a couple now to show us I'm not lying.
Yeah, sure. There we go. That's
all right, now find what you like and press the play.
All right. Let's just go with this right here. That's fine. I'm not hearing anything.
Well, that's unfortunate. Check your volume on the YouTube itself right there. It looks pretty low.
Okay. Let's go rewind this.
One more time.
Is it just quiet at first?
Space is pretty quiet, bro.
Oh yeah, so there's no audio until the end.
So that's the sound of flipping a tri-sensor array beacon in my addiction of choice and galaxy of birth.
I'm Martin, and this is another of my series of videos on the history of early tabletop role-playing games, including...
This is like
hilarious.
A present clip fumble you just rolled on your skill check, which is another thing. It's like I'm gamified. Can you go back to just us now?
Yeah. Stop screen. There we go.
And if you can find the intimate one, where it looks like this on the thing, two little.
What are you talking about? Like
there,
that?
yeah.
All right.
This is the intimate. When you get into an intimate part of a conversation, you switch to this so that you can really resonate with the folks. So, but that's so I'm sucked back into this game, man. And I wanted to tell the synchronistically part. I got sucked back into this game after my grandma passed, and so like the end of 2018, she passed, and I got this joystick off of eBay early 2019, and like at the same time, I'm playing around on the sorting myself out channels levels, and but this particular crack game I'm relapsing into. The darkest part. I ended up rage quitting in, I don't know, November. I guess it was of 19, as I'm trying to piece the puzzles back together.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to turn the relapse into a recursion. And when I rage quit the last time I played was the same day I got my randos interview with my randos slot with Paul.
Oh, interesting.
So I was still with sorting, and I was trying to work that angle, and I just finally got the rando slot. And it was the same day I put this joystick away. So like getting it back out is, I don't know, narratively not insignificant, I suppose. And I don't know if it's like the post Chino what's, or just pressures coming at me, or if it was time for me to go back into this darkness and find what's there.
Yeah.
I come to you about it because like I've spent like from a player side almost a decade trying to save this game.
Wow.
And like it officially closed in, I don't know, maybe 14. And this Russian clone of like it was, they had for a while they had two different game servers, one in North America and one in Europe. And basically, somebody got a mirror of the server side of that and ran off to Russia with it. And they set up this version we're now able to fly and flip beacons through. And okay, so when it was running, there was the management development team, and then they hired this group called Themis to run the game stuff, and then there was the players running their own game stuff. And Themis never did good with the integration between players but there's basically a GM slot. It's like, except that instead of the tabletop, it's the sandbox server of flying around in space with different stuff. And
Gotcha.
And so the guy who's been running it for the last 10 years, well, like people love this game so much we've kept it going alive for 10 years. And they built it to me as a persistent universe when it launched. And so trying to help keep it that way is it.
I didn't know any flight sims existed that even had that aspect to them. That's interesting that it has that, persistent universe aspect to it. And the sandbox element. I wouldn't have expected that in a flight sim. That's really cool.
Well, it was because they didn't know what they were doing.
They didn't know you weren't supposed to build the games that way.
Like the myth and legend of this game is like
Okay.
3 guys who worked for a database programming company watched the movie Office Space and decided to make a video game instead.
That's so funny.
And
But we get some pretty cool stuff that way out of people that like don't even know they're not supposed to do something.
and then there was the drama of them finally finding a publisher. It's like a rags to riches story, because I guess the one guy got a jet. But anyway, the product, they didn't know. See, the reason it was such a great thing is because they didn't know what they were doing. It wasn't a top-down thing. They were learning as they went. And then as the player community influenced them through the forums and the development boards, like, it's a whole thing. But this thing is much greater than the thing they created. And the guy who's been running the game, he's got the tools that the Themis people did for the thing. And he's willing to work with me and so I'm falling back into this trying to keep this universe alive thing, which ate almost of my life, right? And the angle I reconcile it with myself with is like Peterson does that fancy, either it's all meaningful or none of it's meaningful. And if it's all meaningful, then like all those years I spent with my brain crunching on this puzzle of like how to keep this game alive is now been worth it because it's the opportunity is opening to bring it into fruition. Or that's justification of a sunk cost fallacy, and I'm
right. Or I mean, or maybe, who knows? It may be that all of it was working towards some purpose that you don't even see yet, and that even this is just like hinting something of that's on the horizon that it's just a hint for something that you don't see the full shape of yet. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really don't.
Well, if you know anybody that is addicted to video games, I'm going to try and finagle this one to the point where I get my dad to play. So if you want to come check it out and shoot down me and my dad, that's a rare opportunity. And to you, Nate, if I finagle it right, would you be willing to make decisions, role playing the role of a weapons manufacturer in a galaxy far, far away?
Sure. Like so are you talking about adding like some sort of like? It's funny you didn't see the thing with me and Richard, because I was actually talking about how like we were talking about play by mail games, and I talked about how I had at one point I played around with this idea of, because I have a lot of friends who game, I played around with this idea of using friends who I know who game, who weren't able to game in this particular game, to actually run factions off screen.
Yeah, make the executive decisions for the big
exactly. So, yeah. So I would just be like, "Hey, Emmy," like my sister wasn't part of this game, so I was like, "Hey, Emmy, I want to put you in charge of this particular NPC that's in charge of this faction, and this is the situation. Tell me what you do." Right. So rather than me just deciding as a GM like what each of the factions were doing, I let some friend of mine who I had gamed with in the past like make the decisions for the leader of that faction to determine what they were going to do. That's how I let it all play out.
I am almost positive that that's exactly how R.R. Martin wrote Game of Thrones.
No, I actually heard, quite some time ago, I actually did hear that the seed for the idea of the Song of Ice and Fire actually developed out of a GURPS game that he ran, because he's a GURPS guy.
So I don't know how close to that is, but that's sort of the request I have for you and our other friends. Is I might need people to help me make decisions for corporate entities in the space game.
Yeah, totally would do that. Yeah. Well, absolutely.
And that's,
just tell me who the entity is and what their motivations are, and I'll try to make decisions for them as best I can.
Well, I think I'll probably do it is I'll roll up a tabletop for those of us willing to play it that way, and do that and work it in that way and have the decisions come about. But thanks for being somebody I can talk to you about all this stuff.
Yeah,
and everybody, I don't know how this is going to affect my YouTube ship and whatnot. There's a lot going on the Discord. If I can, we might do more collages from the community coming out on my channel. Then the live streams are definitely going to take a. I'll still try to be a couple times a week, I think, but things are shifting.
The frequency that you're putting stuff out is like, I couldn't do it.
Well, they call it hustling.
You know what you could do? You know what you could do, Graham? You could do what you could do what I do, which is just like start like just giving other people authorization to like, hey, just use it. Just do it.
Yeah, trust it.
I mean, Sherry does more of the live streams than I do. Like a lot more.
Well, you got a Sherry to trust. So thanks for sharing your lunch with me and let me talk to you, man.
You bet. Anytime, Graham.
I'll let you go.
Yep. Bye, everybody.